Hey guys, welcome to my breakdown and ramble about my newest map call. I was actually surprised to find out there was no previous Crookedstar and Silverstream Dear Theodosia reprise map when I looked. It's been a while since the sob fest of the song was first released, and I just find it so fitting. Either for Crookedstar and Silverstream, or something like a Brackenfur and Kit's map about Sorreltail's death. I did find a Bluefur and White Kit map, and it just made me sad. That reminds me that for my next map, after the Breeze Pelt Asthma Attack 1 is completed, I'm thinking about either finishing the script for a Blue Star's Grief map with Beetlejuice's Home, or Warriors The Prophecies Begin to the Omen of the Stars arc, to the version of She-Ra's theme, Warriors, from the Season 5 trailer. Which would you be more interested in seeing? So anyway, the first design I drew was Crookedstar, of course. I've already drawn Crookedstar a few times before, so it was fairly easy for me to come up with his. The main idea was a very poofy boy, because I love him to seem large and intimidating, but really just be very fluffy. I also realized when looking at official art, I had made the scar on his face opposite to it before, which I didn't like because I try to stay as close as I can canonically with my designs. Well, for the most part. I also do try to make characters realistically colored, but for Cats Like Soul, I just kind of understand that there's no way. For Crookedstar's jaw, I went off his official art from both the manga and guide for his ginger tabby pelt and paler underbelly, chest, and muscle. Next, I drew Silverstream, the other main character in this map. I actually will be voice acting as Silverstream in the Warrior Cats fandub audiobooks of the series, link in the description. In the official art for Silverstream, she looks very blue and very, chubby. I guess that either they were going for her being pregnant or adhering to the clan's stereotypes of River Clan becoming plump from eating so many fatty fish, but I imagine her being more sleek and torpedo-shaped, because even River Clan cats can't be as well-fed as kitty pets despite what other clans think about them. I also don't like her looking as blue as she does in the official art, since she's described as being a silver tabby, hence her name. I did, however, kind of take and simplify Moon Kitty's fake fur pearl necklace from her Silverstream sprite and make it a simple black neck stripe. Last, I added a small teardrop mark under her eye to signify the loss of her mother when she was very young. This is a mark I then give to Feathertail, which is fitting because of Silverstream's death kidding her. Willow Breeze was after these two, and this was the first cat I hadn't drawn before. It's also been a while since I've read Crookedstar's Promise, so I had to get a refresher on everyone's favorite half River Clan, half Thunder Clan queen. Well, at least half of yours, seeing as odds are it's either her or Greypool. My main goal when designing Willow Breeze was to create a motherly character while also making sure she didn't look too soft. From what I remember of her, she's been through quite a lot and is kind of a badass, so she can't look fragile. I did take the liberty of making her look cute with pale pink ears and pale fluffy fur. Lastly, I made her tabby markings more detailed than either Crookedstar or Silverstream, but with some of the details I gave Silverstream, just to add some variety and make her look like Willow Breeze's child. Next, I decided to update my Greystripe design. I'd drawn a bust of him before. You can see it in my Instagram if you follow me there. I post art near daily. I already had his colors and face down, as well as a vague idea of what I wanted him to look like. For his body, I kind of took inspiration from the Warrior Cats fandub design for him, like his chest floof. Though, if I drew Greystripe again, I'd make sure I'd make his line art thinner, so it doesn't make the fur that leads onto his belly look so disconnected. Either that, or I'd just get rid of the lines separating them. It isn't really that big of an issue, and all around I'm pretty happy with how these designs came out. Greystripe looks fluffier than when I draw him at a 3/4 or head-on angle, but that's just a me problem that I'm gonna have to get better at conveying. Stonefur was next, and even though his character was optional and ended up not making it into the map, I'm still running through my design here. Mainly because I didn't make new designs for Fireheart, Feathertail, or Stormfur for this map. I took most of the colors I used for him from my previous drawings I've done of his death, which primarily focused on Blackfoot, and him and Misty Kit following Greypool around camp. I looked up the description for Stonefur and found out that the only real distinguishing factor between him and other cats was that he had battle-scarred ears, but this wasn't from any actual first-hand source, so I don't know the accuracy of it. Either way, I like the idea of Stonefur looking like a boss who survived 100 battles, and if I drew him again, I'd make him more muscular and battle-scarred. After all, he was chosen as deputy for a reason, and he's just a great noble cat all around, and it's sad he was killed off when he was. Tigerclaw was next. I'd drawn him before a few times, once in a headshot like I've drawn Greystripe, and once when he just killed Brindleface and is using her body to lure dogs into ThunderClan camp. My main goal for Tigerclaw Star is to make him look large and intimidating, which for me means large, broad, and spiky-furred. I'll admit it is a bit hard to make any cat look really evil or intimidating in my style with all the small features and big, wide eyes. I tried my best, and it honestly came out better than I thought it would. My main problem with these designs now is that if you look at any of my animations since then, you see that I've changed my style of drawing eyes for the side to the more realistic triangle shape. Of course, this way makes it so that you can more easily see the colors used, but they do make him look a bit more cute than I would have made him if I used my new method. Next is Cinderpaw or Shade Pelt. She's actually one of the elders who gets left behind in the old territories before the journey to the lakes, and turns out she was Stonefur's apprentice, which really makes me feel like Misty Star is ancient and kind of needs to die. I made her pretty generic, but tried to give her an apprenticey vibe, like enthusiastically upright ears, wide attentive eyes, and slight smile. Shade Pelt actually has official art in the manga, and her coloring in there was the reason I didn't decide to go off the walls with her design. It's also the reason I made her fur so sleek. I actually have a personal AU that the cats like Shade Pelt, who were left behind in the old forest territories, went to inspire a new set of clans from their tales of grandeur about the warrior way of life where my OCs live. I haven't really said much about them, and whether I will or won't in the future is kind of up to debate, seeing as I find writing fanfiction kind of a waste. Leopard Fur was a fun one. It was difficult to find the right color for her at first. Actually, which seems ridiculous, but then you have to remember that you can't just make her look exactly like a leopard but tiny. Or at least you have to make her look unique, which had me shuffling through a bunch of different shades based off of cats and big cats alike. Next, I had to decide on how to draw her unusually spotted coat. I've seen images of Leopard Star with the markings under her eyes more reminiscent of a cheetah, and I love those renditions, so I decided to take that and then tried to sort of copy that marking onto her pelt. But it looked odd, so I smoothed out the angles and decided to give her crescent markings instead, which I think look pretty cool if I do say so myself. Not very realistic, but hey, these are fantasy books, I can have a little fun. Darkstripe came after, and I decided to keep his design obvious and plain, because he doesn't deserve anything better. I made him a bit scruffy, with lots of stripes and dark markings, but otherwise bland. I didn't give him a third lighter belly color, and I even decided to make his nose and ears almost gray so that they wouldn't pop as much. Later, I recreated a screenshot from the SSS Warrior Cats intro featuring most of the ThunderClan camp in the beginning of Into the Wild, and I used this design for him in the foreground of my picture. When I posted the picture on my Instagram and in Discord for my castmates, and someone in the Wings of Fire audiobook, The Poison Jungle, commented that he looked cute, so, I may need to redraw him in that, or at least make him more recognizable somehow. They thought he was Greystripe, which I guess I get because I drew a thick dark stripe down his back up to his head, which also looks a lot like my old Greystripe design. And last but not least, we have Cinderpaw. Poor little Cinderpaw carried the guilt of not being able to save Silverstream with her for a long time. I tried to make her look like she would have been an energetic apprentice if not for her leg, and made her mainly gray. Before, I've drawn her with spots like ashes on her pelt, but this time I decided to make her look more like how she's canonically described. I did, however, want to incorporate some darker markings just above her eyebrows. All in all, if I were to redesign her, I'd just find a way to make her injury larger, though I'd only draw more fur on it if I were drawing her as a full medicine cat. During this, she's still an apprentice, so the wound is still fairly new, so it can look a bit more raw and encompass her leg more. So thanks for listening to this breakdown on Ramble. I'm really happy you guys have been liking these and intend on keeping them up. It's a lot easier to write and talk about your art than spending hours on maps I could get accepted into that I find interesting, asking for and then getting a part, and then posting a 5 to 10 second clip of an animation a week later. With school coming up pretty soon, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep regularly posting animations, though I'm definitely going to continue putting out map arts. I just mainly will probably be working on PMV parts and just be putting them out whenever I can. So, that's all, folks. You can check me out on Instagram and Redbubble at CEOlsenArt if you want to keep up to date with my art. And remember to stay creative. Bye!